Do, 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 do. Oh shit, I have the question.
Huh? Oh my god. Wait.
What episode is this?
We're on episode
Maturity. As
episode
I
17.
pretend to play this piano,
Play the intro.
Lacey. I don't know.
Hey guys, so welcome back to episode 17, where we're going a cappella.
We're going acapella.
Yeah, because our producer forgot to put the audio interface in the Pelican.
We're firing him. Or them, should I say.
Damn, you just called me out like that?
Oh, I was going non-binary and I referred to them as them. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 boop.
Alrighty. So you said maturity, right?
In your definition, what is maturity?
Oh, we're already going into it, huh?
What does maturity mean to you?
That's loaded. That's
like a loaded chili cheese bread?
Oh man, I want to press my laugh button. Where's my laugh button? But
what does maturity mean to you?
It means I'm like the worst person to ask this question.
In your definition,
I think it means okay, you can make wise decisions. You have intuition.
Intuition.
Yeah, you have what do old people? Wisdom. Yes, you're wise.
Wow, a lot of good buzzwords. Keep going. Oh, that's it? That's your definition?
Yeah.
Intuition and... what was the other word?
And wisdom.
And wisdom. Okay. Yeah. Maturity to me means... Lacey.
Yo, that's the...
I don't know what it means, honestly.
What do you see in a mature person?
I think I like the thing that you use, wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna steal that. The wisdom. And wisdom. Let's leave it at that. Perfect.
But was that the question?
No. That was none of the questions.
Oh my god, that was not on the script.
I went off script. I'm so sorry.
That's mature.
Oh.
Rated M for mature. Like that.
No, honestly.
Adult.
Rated M for mature. But rated M for mature just means it has gory stuff. And honestly, something doesn't need to have that shock factor to be mature.
I see what you mean.
When people use curse words during a joke, I'm sometimes it cheapens the joke.
Sometimes that's immature.
Mm-hmm.
When people say the F word after everything.
They do it because they're oh, I'm gonna get the most laughs if I say the F word, and I'm honestly, it kind of doesn't.
It's just kind of edgy for the sake of being edgy, and trying to garner laughs out of being oh my god, they said the F word.
Haha, they said the F word.
Okay, when Olivia Rodrigo curses in her, or when Taylor Swift curses in her songs.
But she hadn't cursed before.
Exactly. So has she reached maturity by cursing? Because to me, I'm oh my god.
I think it depends on the context too. If you use the F word during a song, maybe it reached a new level of insults and stuff like that you had to use the F word.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are really times where F word is necessary, and sometimes I think the F word can enhance comedic effects. But I don't know if that equates to maturity. Do you think there's an age that equals okay, I've reached this age? Here, I mean, I know.
I don't think age equates to maturity. Is that what we're trying to ask?
Yeah, no matter how old you are, you can be immature still.
Yes, very much so. And I'll leave it at that. What made you realize you were mature? Was it age that made you realize?
No, definitely not. Right now, I think age is really just a number at this point. And I think saying that...
Arrest him.
Was that mature?
What?
Arrest me? Yo, you're taking this out of... chill. You're taking this out of context.
Out of context.
Who do you think I am?
Olivia Rodrigo. We're not going to name any names.
You just named a name, though.
But she had nothing to do with this.
No, I for example, when I reached age 18 or age 21, the big milestone ages, I think I was mature in that I realized that I wasn't mature.
Wow, I have no idea what that means. Please elaborate.
No, you know that saying where it's those who are actually wise acknowledge that they don't know a lot?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's how I was mature, where I realized, oh,
you still have so much to learn despite you being 18 or 21.
yeah,
I like that.
That sort of humility, I think that comes with maturity, because it's like you're aware. I think maturity also comes with awareness. So like I became more self-aware as I got older. Not necessarily more self-conscious, but really just like, oh, I think like this, and I've made mistakes, and I can learn from mistakes, and that makes me mature.
I like that.
Yeah. Do you find, have you found yourself mature lately?
I think I'm mature in the way of like, I'll just let things be. Like,
That's
I think,
very
yeah, it's like, I'm gonna just, like, I don't ask any more questions, like, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? And in a way, I don't think that's immature, but also, like, being mature that, like, there's stuff out there that I can't control.
Wow. I think that's very adult of you.
Adult?
Actually. Yeah, because I think a lot of people can take away from that our age, or who are like, and I mean, I can take away from that too. Like, oh, something bad happens. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to let it happen.
Exactly. But I think, like, unfortunately, stuff happens, or it's like, I really wish I could have controlled that. I think people eventually, like, get teared down so much that they're like, after all, I can't control it. I think, like, people also reach that level.
Yeah. I think eventually people reach a stage of maturity, not overall, because I think there's always stuff to learn.
Yes.
But like,
I like that too. Like, I think, like, becoming old enough to realize that you never stop learning lessons. Yeah.
That's mature.
That's maturity. And unfortunately, some people don't have that.
Are you gonna name names? No, because we don't name names.
Maturity is not naming any names.
Yes. Maturity is not stirring the pot.
So do you think it's immature when people stir the pot?
Gosh, is this a hot take? Is this a hot take? I think yes, because it's like, there's no need to stir the pot.
Okay. I am going to put one up and say that I think gossip is immature.
Ooh, okay.
Very immature.
So we're on the same page.
Also, you can't help talking about people. Like, when you get together with people, you're like, oh my God, did you see? I was
Yo, chill.
No, it was like a name that just like popped in, like a random name, but then I realized I actually knew someone with that name. Like, did you hear what Dorothy said? And it's like, you want to talk about what Dorothy said, but also like, you're immature enough. You can be mature enough to just like talk about it blatantly, but immature is like talking about it extensively. And that's what, like, I think there's a fine line to where like gossip is mature and immature. And like stirring the pot, like, you use gossip to stir the pot. And when you gossip to gossip, you're not immature. You're not immature. Did that make sense?
Oh, I see. So just gossip for just
be like, oh my God, did you hear what she said? I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And then you like talk about it a little, but you didn't talk about it a lot to use it as a weapon.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I like that you put it that way, because some people could be so incessant about there's gossip, but like you can cross a line where it's actually like, okay, now we're like playing with fire here, and we're actually like stirring the pot. Yeah, I love gossiping for gossiping. Some people gossip for sport though, and that's just crazy.
Like, when it can harm people, that's just not what it should be used for. I just realized that I asked a question, and it's one of the questions. What is it? I think we talked about this. What does maturity mean in your terms?
Oh,
we already talked about it. Yeah,
and I think in order to understand maturity, you have to also understand immaturity, which is like obvious, I think.
But it's also mature when you can acknowledge your immature moments.
Yes. And those who are immature can't like
acknowledge their immature.
Yes, because I mean, I have observed all the immaturity mostly in like my early jobs. When we were all teenagers, of course. And not to say like I'm better, I was like above them. Yeah, but it's like some people are just very like, you need to act your age
and not your shoe size.
Yeah, that was good. Have you said that before? 'Cause that was really funny.
A lot of people say that.
I'm 7.5.
7, so you're acting like 7.
Is that private?
You need to act like you're not 7.5.
Dude, the biggest shoe size goes to like, what, 13?
13, exactly. So you shouldn't act a shoe size.
I think that's a good, like, Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo, like, lyric. Yeah, it's like,
it's
you need to act.
funny that, like, we're bringing up Olivia Rodrigo because I think she had, like, a song that talked about, like, what am I going to be too mature for my age and just be mature? Like, you know when people
like kind of throwing the age out of the equation and just like...
Like, someone's 13 and you're like, you're very mature for your age. But when am I just going to be mature in general?
Yeah, like, first of all, what does that mean? Like, Olivia's like 21.
Yeah.
22.
But, like, when is she just going to be, like...
Mature.
Like,
grown up. Yeah, I don't think... See, I think that's very important that you bring that up because we kind of brought that up earlier of, like, is there an age
just a number?
I think it is. I really think it is. And speaking of Olivia Rodrigo, like, while we're still talking about her, like, her second album, I think it shows maturity.
Oh, yeah.
You know? It's like...
And I think that also has to do with, like, things happen in your life that are just out of your control, and they make you, like, see life in a different way. And in that way, and in your turn, you mature.
Yeah. It really arrives with experience.
Yes. And her second album really, like punches in that she went through, like, an experience that made her be mature.
Do you think you can observe that same, like...
in regular people? Let's go away from Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Like, in regular people?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pinpoint one person or one thing.
Yeah, it's hard because, like, we're all kind of in our own path to...
Yeah.
Like,
people mature at their own pace. Yeah. And for some people, like, when they're 30, it's like, oh, you haven't matured yet.
Yeah.
But then you look at, like, a 25-year-old and you're like, oh, you're matured. Do you think maturity equals smartness?
I think so, to a degree. Like, that social intelligence. Street smart parts. Yeah, looking left and right before you cross. No, like, I think, again, going back to self-awareness and not being oblivious. Because I think people who are immature, I don't know. I mean, you can be mature and oblivious. It just depends, like, what your philosophy is, your life philosophy is.
Mature and oblivious. So I'm mature enough to not spend $8, but I'm oblivious to where it's like, $8 means nothing. Is that what you mean?
Sure. I mean, like, if you really get to the root of it, mature means, like, old, doesn't it?
Like your brain's old?
Yeah. My gray matter is off the charts.
My, metaphorically, I'm 30. I will not elaborate.
And physically,
Physically? Well, literally, I'm 25, but metaphorically, I'm 30.
Oh, so you're saying you're, like, mature. I'm
not going to say or deny anything. I'm just going to say that, like... What should I say? I'm not going to say anything.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how mature do you think you are?
Okay, so I'm mature when it matters.
Like, if you're in a situation where it's like, oh, shit.
I have to make an adult decision.
Yes, like, things are on the line.
I will be an adult. But, like, honestly... I think because I've been metaphorically I'm metaphorically born in 1993.
What does that even mean?
Because I've been metaphorically born in 1993, and now I'm, like, having an out-of-body experience. I'm like, wait, I want to be a kid and act like a kid and embrace the things that I want to embrace, which is my... as people say, inner child.
Dude, that phrase, like, I feel like that recently came back.
I think it's... Sometimes people don't use it, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to color. I'm going to embrace my inner child. And be like, here's just...
I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to embrace my inner child. I'm going to give myself permission...
I think, like, giving yourself permission to do whatever you want to do is embracing your inner child.
Oh, of course.
As opposed to, like, I'm going to do this and turn on the TV.
Uh-huh.
That's, like, your adult self can turn on the TV and watch SpongeBob.
True.
We snuff.
I mean, we were... Manoy. I mean, we were literally watching TikTok on SpongeBob.
I love SpongeBob. The inner mechanisms of my brain are an enigma. They really are.
You know, I think SpongeBob actually is quite a mature show, given, like, the jokes and references that they have that you...
We snuff.
I think you can gauge maturity by how much you can understand and get out of a SpongeBob episode. Because I think there's a lot of, like, deep humor in there.
Yeah.
Like some Pixar movies or Disney movies, like, are very much geared towards adults. And I think, like, if you're, like, a kid, like, you haven't had enough life experience to really understand, like, oh, that was funny. Or, oh, haha, that's true.
Haha, that's racist.
Yeah. What?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maturity is being able to gauge whether something's racist or not.
And, like, laughing at it, it's like, oh my god, am I racist? No. Take it back.
Maturity is questioning everything.
I think questioning everything people might think is immature because you're like, you're being annoying. Why are you asking so many questions? Like, stop. So I think that's maturity. You're being aware of things and you're asking questions. And I think that's maturity.
True. It's like being investigative or...
Investigative reporter.
Hello, welcome to Channel 9 News.
This is KTLA, but I don't know if I do. Yeah,
I think news reporters sound very mature. You know, just the way they talk. I don't...
You lose their big girl voice.
Yeah.
No matter the gender.
Because big girls don't cry.
Is crying mature or immature?
I don't know, but that...
Putting you on the spot.
That Pussycat Girls song is...
Pussycat Girls.
Right?
Pussy Girls.
Sorry. Whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to say that. Pussycat Dolls. Okay,
oh,
there we go.
Pussycat Dolls.
Yes, that's the song.
Like,
I don't know what...
Pussycat Dolls doesn't make sense.
Pussycat.
Okay, I'm gonna steer us away from... Answer the question. Is mature...
Steer us away and hit the gas.
Is crying mature, immature?
Crying mature?
Yeah.
Depends.
Because I think when someone cries, people are like, that's immature of you. But I think, like, crying, like, you're letting yourself cry, and I think that's very mature of you.
Yes. I think there's a line that can be drawn.
As,
between...
like, there's a line with immature gossip and mature gossip.
Correct.
There's also a line for immature crying and mature crying.
Correct.
Exactly. So we established that.
I mean, we
Perfect.
We can
you want to elaborate?
Yeah, because, like, you can... Like, I have times in my life where I've cried just because of, like, I'm throwing a tantrum.
Yeah. Oh.
And I think adults can still throw tantrums.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's a sign of immaturity. Whereas letting yourself cry, not like you don't have to show anyone that you're... Like, you can cry to someone or you can cry on camera and still be mature. But I think, so as long as there's kind of a purpose to the crying, like a meaningful purpose that's like, oh, I'm letting my emotions run, I'm decompressing.
Because it's like exposing your vulnerability is can be very... there's ways that you can use it as a weapon, and there's ways that you can use it to express yourself. I'm burping. Alrighty. Speaking of crying, speaking of gossiping, what are some immature actions you still practice?
Crying and gossiping.
Crying and gossiping is immature.
Actually, I mean, sometimes I still gossip, like with you I gossip, but not to stir the pot.
Not to stir the pot.
Yeah, you know, just to
like be like, oh my god, did you see what they posted on their story?
Stop, you're being so specific right now. Yeah, I mean, everyone does that.
That's pretty general.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, what was the question?
What are some immature actions you still practice?
Ooh. Oh, do I go? Or are you asking me?
You said it. That you like gossip and you cry.
I was joking.
Oh, okay.
Do I gossip? And I cry?
I think that's some things that we do together.
I mean, I don't throw... yeah. I don't throw tantrums. Okay, sorry.
Do you maturely throw tantrums?
When I know that I'm in the right. Okay, sorry, that segues into the actual immature thing that I do, which is like I can be very stubborn, and I can also be very unreceptive to feedback. Like, I think people have observed this in me, where it's like, oh, Justin does not take this well.
Does not take feedback very well.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I think that's something that I'm still working on. People be like, I'm working on it when really I'm not working.
I mean, I think it also relates to your stubborn, like being stubborn. But also, like, being stubborn, it's just like, it can come at a right time.
Oh, yes.
Like, stand your ground on what you believe in.
Yes. Like, I admire someone who's stubborn in, when they're, like, fighting for something or trying to achieve a goal. But sometimes my stubbornness and immaturity does get in the way of, like...
Of getting things done.
Yes. Ironically. Okay. So I think that's where I'm really most immature. And I think I'm mature for observing.
So you do it when you're stubborn?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I'm just...
Because I think that's what this question is asking. When and what are some immature? Unless we just, like, can't type. When? Oh, so what I think is the gossip that I do. I think I gossip. And sometimes I use it as a weapon. But, like, it's because I think I'm in the right. And I think that's aligned with my stubbornness.
Oh, so we're both stubborn?
I think so. Because I think... and sometimes I'm, like, immature the way to, like, I'm acting like a child. But I do it because I want to have fun.
Yeah, no, I when I'm with you and you're gossiping for sport, it's like, she's definitely getting a kick out of this.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, you get a kick out of it. Like, it's a knee slap.
Oh, yeah, because it's so funny. And I was...
But you are stirring the pot.
Am I...
No, everybody.
I sometimes think it's necessary.
To stir?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the inspections on the box saying stir.
I want people to get a taste of their own medicine. Because I think people deserve that punch in the face. Like, when you want to punch someone in the face?
Yeah, but I feel like...
Well, I'm going to punch you metaphorically in your life.
Okay, no,
Because you know what? You're just a bad person. And no, I think there's also, like, the immature action of, like, I don't think this is going to be, it's aligned with my stubbornness. Like, I don't want it to go that way. So I'm going to be immature and make it go my way.
Yeah, it's like you're aware.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just blindly gossiping and blindly stirring the pot. It's like, oh, I'm going to stir the pot in such a way that, like...
benefits me?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
But also in an effort to try and teach someone something, or, like,
a lesson.
To try and, like, not get revenge, so to say.
I want to get revenge.
Okay, I'm trying to make you look.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen better than revenge.
Yeah. And
I think you're mature in the same way Taylor Swift is mature.
And the same way that I also said, that, like, sometimes, like, when things are out of my control, like, things happen out of my control, and, like, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, okay, go for it. But then there's times where I'm like, no. I'm not going to let it go that way. I'm going to manipulate. I'm very good at manipulating. I don't know if I can say that.
I know. I think that is a mature...
manipulating in a good way and also in a bad way. I'll put it there.
And I think it's mature that you acknowledge that. Because there's some people who are like, oh, I'm not manipulative at all. Like, it's like, oh.
I can manipulate for the greater good. Like, you want that meeting at 2 and you can't get it anywhere else? Well, okay, I'll try to manipulate them to where they agree to that meeting at 2.
If you're a superhero, would your superpower be like manipulation?
Yes.
I admire that in you. I think that stubbornness can, like, be a really good thing in moments, but obviously, like, when it comes to talking about maturity, it can be of question.
Well, it's great that we talked about those, because how do you strive to fix them? Or do you strive to fix that immaturity?
I mean, every time the immaturity, like, shows up, like, for example, in my, like, relationships, it's like sometimes the stubbornness, let's use that as an example, where I think I'm in the right and I want to do things my way. And then afterwards I realize, oh, I might have hurt someone in that process. And then I apologize to them. And then I'm like, oh, I'll work on it. I'm sorry. I'll be better. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm just saying that and not actually doing anything. So to answer your question, I wish.
I feel like you're, like, kind of acknowledging, like, oh, I'm hurting someone's feelings or I'm being stubborn. So, okay. But also it's like, I didn't want to do that. in the first place.
Yeah, and I wish it was as easy as like
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but it's not. We're people. We're people.
No, I think in the way that I do it, it's like sometimes I catch myself and it's like, oh, okay, I see where I'm in the wrong.
And then do you like stop?
Yeah, but then I'm like, fuck, what do I do next? And then I think also a big thing is like compromise. Like, oh, I want it my way, but you want it your way. So we're going to go to Burger King and we're going to reach a compromise.
We're going to go to Burger King and we're going to have it our way, baby.
Our way. Yeah, I think compromise is a big way to like that I can fix my immaturity. And I reach compromises.
Wow. I think that's something I'm definitely
Go 4/5 compromise.
Yeah. So Lincoln is very mature.
Lincoln is my motto. Like, think like Lincoln.
He's your role model?
Thinking like Lincoln. Is what I say to myself when I realize that I should fix my immaturity.
Yeah, I think compromise is a great...
4/5.
I think compromise is a great sign of maturity and that you are really trying here when you compromise. Because, like, you're giving something up. And that actually goes against your stubbornness, which is... And the fact that you're able...
And the fact that you're able to give something up, I think it's like... It's big girl matured.
I think giving up is also a sign of maturity. But also it can be a sign of immaturity. You know, when people are like,
oh, I'm just going to give up.
Yes.
Also, like, I'm going to give up because it's the right thing to do. I know, I think Lizzo has a lyric like that.
Are we really quoting? Is she still?
Let's stop.
Okay, thank you guys for...
Yeah. Are you immature? Do you strive to fix your maturity? We'll call 1-800-MATURE.
That's not even like enough letters for a whole phone number.
Did I ask?
Okay, hit the theme song.
Is that it?
Yeah. Okay, great. You know what's mature? This podcast.
You know what's mature? Stopping this podcast.
No, really. Stopping when you know it's time to stop.
Wow. Applause. Okay, we're ending this. Okay. Well,
guys,
next time
on
okay.